Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back for week 175 of Build Your Stash and Craft. Today we are going to make pulled fun foam flowers. We've done this before, but it was quite a long time ago. I thought it would be a fun project to revisit. So we're going to make flowers like these. So this is just a rose on a stick and a poppy and like a lily. And here is a rose that I did and put it on a tea light just so that it has a little flicker to it, just something fun to do. And so that's what we're going to do today. And so we'll just go ahead and get started. We'll need fun foam and we will need a pair of scissors, some markers, and a hot glue gun. So the first thing that we're going to do is just make some petals. Now, normally when I make the petals, you can make them any way you want. They don't have to be any kind of a real flower. You can make your own kind of flower. And, you know, make your petals look however you want them to look. So, but I just cut out some petals. And then what I do is I color on them with a watercolor marker. You can do it with any kind of marker, actually. The watercolor markers get all over your hand, but they also kind of, as you're making your pulled flowers, they kind of blend in nicely because, you know, your hands are kind of pulling a little bit of that ink off so that it's not real stark. And so I'm just going to cut some petals to kind of make one like the lily. And I don't know if there's pink lilies or not, but I'm going to have a pink lily because I don't have to have it just the way that they normally are. I'm going to make a little bit of better point on here. There we go. And so I've just cut, how many did I make? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I had one done as 6. So then what you can do, see if my markers work or not. Ah, they are. You can just go ahead and just put a little bit of color kind of in the center of your flower, just so that your flower isn't just a flat colors. Like this one is just very flat, well, in color dimension. So I'm just going ahead and going to put a little bit of pink on each one, and then I'll do one and we'll see the difference of one with color and one without color. You could even you could do different colors to make it look very unique and interesting in your own flower. That would be kind of fun. I'm just kind of going up the middle and then just kind of feathering off to the sides. You can do it however you would like. You can make it darker or lighter, however you feel like doing it. When you feather off to the sides a little bit like that, it doesn't make it so much of a line, which I like a little bit better. Okay, so, and then the way that you make your petals to look like this so that they're not just, you know, I mean, this is pretty, but it's not as pretty, to me, it's not as pretty as this. So this just, I think, would be really cute in a vase or something. I thought it's nice springtime, time to do something bright and springy. So, and then all you're going to do is you're just going to kind of rub this between your fingers, pinching and pulling a little bit. And it's the warmth of your hands that kind of warms this up and helps it to stretch. Don't pull. You can also just kind of pinch and, you know, pull in any direction, pull like this, pull apart from each other, pull this way, however you want to do it. We're just kind of thinning and pulling that fun foam, and that is what makes it get all nice and curly. And if you try and do it too fast, you know, you have to pinch and pull, and you may have to go over it again but you're thinning out the outside edges so that they're getting longer, but the center is still staying the same length basically because it has not been pinched and pulled. And so that's what gives you the dimension to your flower petals. So, and if it's really cold, it works better to just kind of, rub on it and warm it up a little bit first, because the warmer it is, the better it does. And so there we go. Now we have, and if you accidentally do put a rip in it, don't worry about it. That's okay, because I've never seen a perfect flower in my garden before, and I don't know if you can see that or not, but just to see the little bit of a difference with having some color in the middle to give it a little dimension versus just being totally flat. The other thing is that by doing this, it also even puts shadow, like that one, even though it didn't have any color on it, because it was bending in different directions, it kind of had shadow to it, which also helped with it not having color. At least it had a little bit of shadow there, here and there. And you just keep going. Be careful with your tips. You don't want to pull your tip off, but if you do, well, then you do. You can just maybe put a new tip on it, cut it a little shorter. Just go back and forth until it gets to where the way you think that you like it. Now, if I think that that one looks a little bit too curled that way, I'm going to just kind of pull back on it this way a little bit, just so that it's not so curled in one direction. And just keep doing that until you get all of them done. And you can make any kind of shapes that you want to. You can pull them a lot so that they really get curly. Pull them a little bit so they only get a little bit wrinkly. And again, be careful with your tips, but you want to pinch it and pull it because you're trying to thin that fun foam out. And that's what's giving you your dimension. I think I probably could have put maybe a little bit more color on here. And kind of pull this way a little bit to make the bottom a little straighter. So there we go. You can kind of maybe give it a little bit of a twist. Just being careful not to rip it, however you want to do that. And we have 2 more to go. I have my hot glue gun all plugged in and ready to go. But we'll go ahead and we'll finish the whole thing, even though it takes a little bit of time. But I want you to be able to see what it looks like when we put it together. So there we go. I love having them that are going in all different directions. I think that really lends to the look. So I try and, pull and stretch in kind of different directions with different ones to see what kind of look I get. If you did it a lot, I suppose you could really learn that different ways of stretching and pulling will give you different looks. Like you'll know, if you want it to curl, stretch it this way or stretch it that way. I just mess with it until I like the looks of it. And so there we go. We have all of our petals done. Now, like this one, I want to have a little center on there. So I'm just going to cut a strip of yellow. Be sure that that's enough. And then just put some little slices in here. And then we're just going to twist these. between our fingers. Just roll it up. Maybe give it a little bit of a pull, not too much because these are so thin. But just roll it between your fingers. And then when you let it go, it will kind of start to unroll a little bit and get thicker. So it won't be like a, you know, when you first roll it up, it's very thin. But then it relaxes a little bit. If you wanted, you could put little points on the end of these. Whoops, pulled it off. Not going to make a difference. We're going to roll it up anyways. Not every flower is perfect. So we're just going to keep going till we get a few of those done. Until you think you have enough. And what's the right amount? There isn't a right amount. Whatever you like. So I'm going to roll this up a little bit. And I think that that is going to be enough, because I don't want a huge flower center, so I'm going to cut it off right there. Then I'm just going to start to roll it a little bit. Put just a little drop of glue on there. Hot glue is definitely not my favorite type of glue. So I'm going to finish rolling this up like this. I want to keep the hot glue down towards the bottom. Don't burn yourself. You can lay it on your table to roll it up so that you're not holding on to it. And then I'm just going to pull some of these maybe out a little bit so they're not all coming straight up. Rolling them also at the same time. Like I said, these have a very flat top, so you might want to put a little point on the top. That might be kind of cute. Or touch it with a little touch of maybe brown marker or black marker or something, so it looks like there's the little pollen part on the top. And so this is going to be what our center looks like. Now the part where I pulled off that one, oh no, that's just one that rolled down. I thought that that was, so there we go. This is going to be the center of our flower. And that's Papa, so I'm going to go get Papa some breakfast, and I will be back and we'll finish this in just a minute. Okay, I am back. And so what we're going to do is put this flower together. I'm going to show you that my hands are a mess because I made some with some blue and red. And I didn't show you when I had pulled these. You may have seen it, but my fingers had turned all pink. And that's what happens when you put the ink on there. If you use a permanent ink, you could probably, yes, I think that these ones I might have actually done with a permanent ink. Then it doesn't get all over you as bad. It still kind of gets on your fingers. But so what we're going to do is we're just going to take our center that we had rolled up, and we're just going to take one of our petals, the flat part, and we are just going to attach it like this with the hot glue. So I'm going to put some hot glue here on the bottom. And again, be careful not to burn yourself. And I'm just going to roll that around. Hold it there for just a second. And then go ahead and do the next one. So that's what it looks like so far. And we'll just continue putting all of these on here until we have them all on. So we have, let's see, we have 6 of them. So I'm going to overlap a bit because we're going to have plenty of room. Just kind of hold on to that a little bit so it doesn't let go. And do the next one. So this is going to give us like a pink lily. And I'm overlapping with just a little bit sticking out, because I really don't want my flowers to be behind each other, so I might only fit maybe even 5 on here, because I just want them to just go around one time. Like with your roses, if you're doing a rose, you go around quite a few times. So again, I'm going to overlap it with just a little bit sticking out. And then that one is really going kind of cockeyed that way. And if we want, it can be adjusted after we get the whole thing together. This is the one that I didn't put any color on. And our last one. Put about halfway between those last two petals, and there we go. Now I'm just going to kind of come down here and hold it all together for just a second. And then that is what it looks like. Now if I don't like this one kind of bending so much, I can straighten it out. This one I kind of don't like going off that way, so I'm going to actually just kind of stretch it this way a little bit, and I think that that looks better that way. I'm gonna straighten out these, and there we go. There is our pink lily. So these are just really fun to make. This one looks a little bit long the way it is, so if I kind of give it a stretch and a pull downward, that kind of curved it down a little bit. But those are fun to make. And then I was saying, you know, you could just do them a fun way. Now to cut the shape of a rose is kind of like a heart without a point at the bottom. So I was just earlier I had said we could do them in different colors. So this one I just did like blue with a red line, then some pink and some yellow. And again, we're just going to, with the roses, what I do to start with this, I give them a squeeze and a stretch in the center first before I do the edges, because this is such a large surface. And then just start by pinching and pulling, and you just pinch it and pull it until you get all the way around. Make sure that your hands are warm, because these do work better if your hands are warm. You kind of, when the fun foam is a little bit warmer, it stretches a little bit better. And now with all of the colors, you could, if you wanted, let me grab a napkin or grab a Kleenex here and just kind of maybe buff those colors together a little bit. They do kind of smear together when you're stretching them, and that buffing didn't really work very well. But that's the first time I've ever done multiple colors. I don't really think I like it, although I didn't really think it out as far as, you know, like choosing colors that I thought would look good. I just scribbled on some colors that I had here. So I have some of these. Pulling too hard. If you pull too hard, you can tear it. If you get just a little tear, it's not that big of a deal. A tear this far where it's almost torn completely off, I just set that one aside because that's not going to work very well. I took the other piece of our little shredded piece, and on that one I did just cut little points. Instead of leaving them flat, all I did was cut points, and then I didn't do anything else. I just rolled it up and stuck it in the middle of this flower. And this is the way that you make a rose. I didn't intend for this to be a rose, but I'm going to take one that I have a little bit of a shorter bottom across here. This one has quite a large bottom across here, so I'll put this one towards the outside of my rose. And I don't cut them any specific way. They're not all cut the same. I just kind of cut them a bit like a heart without the point at the bottom. And so then I'm just going to overlap those and wrap it all the way around and give it a press. And then we'll do the next one. And actually I should have put the glue on the bottom of the petal, not on the bud. So I'm just going to do that and wrap this all the way around. Well, that is looking a whole lot harder than it really is. Okay. And then we'll just put these last two on here and we'll see what kind of a funky flower we have. Because when you make things however you want to make them, they don't have to. I'm going to kind of center this one right in this area, but actually I think I'm going to put on this side between these two. I'm just going to start there. Hold that one over. Just pull this one around here. Like that, and then we'll put the last one in. Now this will be the type of flower that maybe it would need, maybe it could use a few more petals on it. But you can always, if you put it together and think, well, I wish I had a little bit more, you can always just make more. So I'm going to put this one right here. And there we go. Now we have our own invention of a flower. Oops, and that's what it looks like. And they're very easy to make. You can put them on a skewer like this if you want to put them in a vase or something. And you know, once you get them together, you can always give them a bit of an adjustment to stretch them in different ways that you may want them stretched, holding on to the base as you're pulling on the top, because you don't want to pull that petal right up out of there. Maybe just moving it this way a little bit or giving it a curve this way. So that's the nice thing, is you can manipulate them once you get them together. Maybe get a little bit of this blue stretched and blend it in a little bit. But there we go. So that is how you do the pulled foam flowers. They are very fun to make, and I hope that if you make some of these, that you enjoy the process. Make a bunch of them and put them in a vase. Give yourself a nice spring feeling. So there we go. And that one actually, now that it's done, I think it's kind of cute. I really actually was thinking that the petals were really, really ugly. Didn't like them, but you never know. So that's why you always go through the process of finishing something and then deciding, do I like it or not? Because I really do actually think that that looks quite pretty. So thank you very much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.